Hey Internet, it's RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into the show today. Now in today's episode, we're going to talk about one of American Express's most popular, most talked about features, and that is the legendary Centurion Lounge, or American Express Airport Lounges. So, typical fashion here, we will start by talking about lounges as a whole, then we'll go into everything you need to know about Centurion Lounges, who gets access, guests, the rules, things like that, what you can expect and need to know. Then, of course, we'll come out on the other end with some of my own personal experiences, some thoughts about how you should actually consider and value this perk. So, if that sounds interesting to you, then go ahead, press the subscribe button. Let's get to work. Okay, first things first, let's talk about airport lounges as a whole. Now, airport lounges have been around for quite some time. They got really popular when Priority Pass, and Priority Pass is like a network of lounges. It has nothing to do with American Express, by the way. We'll talk about the differences. But Priority Pass is kind of what popularized it because a lot of high-end credit cards, probably around the time the Sapphire Reserve from Chase came out in 2016, they started putting Priority Pass with their card. So as a result, a lot of people got access to these lounges. So simply put, an airport lounge is kind of like it's supposed to be a quieter place, off the main terminal, away from all the noise and the fuss of the airport. Sometimes they have different levels of amenities. The really nice ones can have full food dining options, full stock bars, fitness places, showers, things like that, all the way down to just kind of a little room with some snacks. You kind of get the whole spectrum when you talk about these lounges. Now, that's Priority Pass. Other airlines operate their own lounges. There's Delta Sky Club, there's American Airlines Admirals Club, United Club. So American Express Centurion lounges are just American Express's personal branded versions of those lounges. They have nothing to do with Priority Pass. They are owned and operated by American Express. Now, the thing that makes them different is that it's supposed to be next level. When you think of American Express, you're supposed to think of that next level as top premium tiers. Again, Centurion is also the name of the black card.
Oh my God, is that a black card?
And that's kind of where they're borrowing the name from. So that's still the gist of lounges as a whole. American Express is supposed to be more next level. And we'll talk about what you can expect a little bit later. So now that you know that, well, where are these mythical lounges at? Now, obviously, they're in airports. So on the screen here, you have a list of locations as of late December 2021. So you can see a theme here. They're in much bigger airports. So Dallas, Fort Worth, LAX, Las Vegas, big airports as you would imagine. Now they're still expanding lounges. This is again as of 2021. I do know there's some on the docket for 2022, I believe. And then, they're going around and refreshing some of them. So the New York or JFK airport, I believe, was just refreshed. It was either JFK or LaGuardia. It was just refreshed and reopened a while back. So they're continuing to make updates. But pay attention to the locations because that's going to play a huge part later when we talk about what this means, what these lounges mean for you. Okay, so now that we know where the lounges are, let's talk about access. How do you get in now that you know where they're at if you're traveling through one of these places? So as we've said, this has nothing to do with Priority Pass. There are a lot of folks out there who you get your Priority Pass card and you go up to the lounge, the American Express lounge, and you think Priority Pass should get you in. It's not the case. This American Express lounges are entirely separate from Priority Pass, meaning there's a few cards that you need to use to get in. Now, you might be familiar with other Amex rules where you have to go and opt in to certain credits and benefits. You do not have to opt in on the Amex portal, anything like that for this. It's part of the card package already, which is surprising for American Express. They don't make you opt in. But let's take a look at the cards that will get you in now. So access here, you have number one, Platinum card. So all versions of the Platinum card. So the vanilla one is the one we talk about that's non-co-branded. But there's also a Schwab version. There's also a Morgan Stanley version. At one time, there was a Mercedes-Benz version. I think there'll be more in the future. All of those Platinum cards will get you in. The Business Platinum as well. The Delta Reserve and the Delta Business Reserve, those are American Express Delta issued cards. Those are the purple ones. Those will get you in as well. And of course, you have the classic Centurion card that will get you in. Now, what if you're traveling with friends because you're really popular? Let's talk about the guest rules because these are changing eventually. So, Platinum cards, 2 guests for free as of right now. Centurion, 2 guests or immediate family. Delta Reserve, no guests. That's same for the Delta Business Reserve as well. Now, it's also important to note here, guests are per member, not per card. So there are some folks out there who would have a Platinum and then a Business Platinum. It doesn't double your amount of guests. It's you can bring 2 people in. Now, very important to note here, starting February 1st of 2023, Platinum Card guests will be $50 each and $30 for kids under 17 years old. However, you can get free guests still, get your guest passes still, if you spend $75,000 on your Platinum Card in a year. So if you did that in 2022, you do that each year and beyond, you'll still get your guest passes. Now, overall, the guest rules are pretty on par for what you see at other lounges. You know, a lot of people do travel with player twos or kids, so it's nice to have the passes. You know, the $75K spend requirement isn't awesome. I think they're trying to do that to curb some of the overcrowding that we'll talk about at the end of this and some of the downside of it. Now, it's also important to note with the Platinum Cards, if you add an authorized user, that authorized user will then get access to the Centurion Lounge as well. I think you can add like 3 authorized users to your Platinum Card for like the same price. I'll put it on screen. I don't quite remember the price off the top of my head. I'll put it on screen. So that could be an option as well. And that's probably what American Express wants you to do, put more Platinum Cards in people's hands, because most people aren't going to spend $75K on their Platinum Card. It just doesn't make sense multiplier-wise. But anyways, let's now talk about the rules of the lounge as far as, the criteria for getting in, because even if you have one of those cards, there's still some things you need to know. So the first rule we have here applies to all cards. You'll need to present a same-day boarding pass, government ID, and your eligible card. Now, you can register for the lounge through the app digitally. I find it easier just to have the physical card to show them, but you can do it. If you forget the card in your pinch, just make sure you have the Amex app. Now, the second option here applies to Platinum and Delta Reserve rules. Access to the lounge is only on departure or on a connecting flights. Those will grant access as well. So if you're landing at the airport and LAX is your final destination, you cannot get in. But if you're going, DTW to DFW and then connecting to LAX, it's the same day connecting, of course, you can get in. Now, you're only going to be allowed entry to the lounge within 3 hours of your scheduled flight departure. There might be some leniency here, but it really depends on number 3, which is capacity. So it's entirely possible that you may be added to a wait list for entry, and you can check lounge status via the app as well. So if you go into the app under membership, under your Platinum Card and under membership, find a lounge, it will tell you hey, how busy is the lounge. Now, they don't quantify it. It's not like, hey, this room can hold 1,500 people is the max capacity and we're at 1,100. It's from not busy to moderate to very busy to almost full, I think, are the statuses. So that can help. I mean, they're almost always busy, but that can help, and I think you can register for the wait list if need be. But again, they're not going to tell you how many people is too many people. However, with that being said, if you have a Centurion card, well, you play by a little bit different rules. So let's take a look at that special treatment that you can expect. So the Centurion treatment here is for black card holders here. Now, access is, from what I understand, it's virtually guaranteed even when the lounge is at capacity. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to have a great time in a lounge that is at capacity, but if you have a black card, they're more than likely not going to turn you away. Now, to help with that, there can also be reserved seating for Centurion card members as well. There's complimentary premium champagne. There's a complimentary premium drink selection as well. Now, some of this stuff is only available at select lounges. It's not necessarily a guarantee that you're going to get it everywhere. But moving on from that, what can you expect? Here are some of the basic amenities we have. So, high-speed Wi-Fi, lounge pods, computer workspaces. They have printers if you still need paper, I guess. Of course, they have large TVs, premium cocktail bars, sometimes multiple bars, showers. They do have buffet-style dining and breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Now, it's supposed to be, their whole pitch is at least more so it's hey, we have an in-house chef. It's just not the vat of eggs, shout out Lando, that you might be getting in other places. Some of them, I think the JFK or LaGuardia one has an Equinox fitness or stretching center. I actually saw one of these in DFW. I don't know if it was Equinox specifically, but there was a little fitness stretching area. And then they have spas as well. Now, again, a lot of these perks and benefits are going to vary depending on the lounge you're going to. We just talked about it. JFK or LaGuardia has been refreshed. I just came from the DFW one, and I can tell you that one, it's not bad by any means, but it hasn't really been refreshed. You have the normal amenities, and I would put that one on par with a Delta Sky Club or a regular run-of-the-mill lounge, but we'll talk about that in a second. Okay, so with all that being said, that's everything you need to know about Centurion lounges. how you get in, who can get in, and all the rules. Now, I just want to give you my overall thoughts and experiences, and I'm going to lay down some B-roll that I took from DFW Lounge here. The intent actually of this was for me to shoot this in that lounge because it probably would have been better to do this on location, just a little change of scenery. However, it was probably 2 p.m. on a Thursday afternoon. It was super crowded. Couldn't find a place to be out of the way. Like, it was super loud. The audio was going to be terrible. So I just decided to not do it so I could do it better quality and you could understand what I'm saying better. When it comes to Centurion lounges, I think it really depends on a few different things. One, your location, and two, where you fly to. Again, we saw the map. They're not everywhere. So I go out of DTW where they're not here. So if you're flying a route, if I was flying from here to DFW, here to LaGuardia a lot, that could make sense, to value it higher. But, they're not everywhere. And then number two here is again, some of them are very nice, don't get me wrong, but then some of them are like a regular lounge. The one in DFW was a regular lounge. I actually just come from the Capital One lounge. It's pretty new. I'll link that down below if you're interested in checking that out. But it wasn't any better or worse than that lounge is kind of my takeaway. I mean, the Capital One is nicer because it's newer and there's just less people in there. And again, that goes back to the continued issue of overcrowding. Now, Amex is trying to work around that, to a degree by making it harder to bring in guests. But, I think they still have ulterior motives like signing up authorized users or having you put a ton of spend on their card. Now, I think they're trying, but we've seen this is an issue with everyone, not just American Express. So just take all this into account. The last thing I'll say is this. When I hear people talk about the Platinum card, they always say, oh man, it's got Centurion Lounge access. And we talk about it like it's a bar you go to after work. And that's, for most people, that's just not the case, right? So I don't want to come off as I just hate the lounge. I don't hate it. I think it's fine. I just think it's one of the most misunderstood or mistalked about perks on the card. It really just depends on how you go to the airport. Even on departure, I usually get to the airport really cutting it close sometimes. I need to be better about it. But, you're talking about to enjoy it. Are you going to the airport, 2 or 3 hours early so you can hang out there? I don't know. If I'm coming from home, then no. If you're leaving, then that can come in handy. But, again, is it better or worse than a regular lounge? So if it was a bar after work, you could go there 2-3 times a week. Some of you would even go during lunch hours. I know how bankers operate. But my point is, just value it accordingly. It's one of the perks of the card, but it's not this, in my opinion, it's not this grandiose be-all, end-all thing. It should be valued. How much you value it is going to be up to you and how you use the card and use the lounge. But that's just the biggest mistake I hear. It's got Centurion Lounge. Well, yeah, cool, but what does that really mean for you? So not hating on the lounge by any means. I just want to kind of offer another lens and some things you should think about when talking about this. So anyways, guys, if you like this one, drop me a thumbs up down below. If you found it particularly interesting, consider subscribing to the channel. Again, posting content just like this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Of course, right back here every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. My question for you guys is let me know what you think, what your experiences have been at Centurion lounges and other lounges. Am I painting a bad picture? Have I been too harsh on it? Let me know your thoughts and your experiences down below. I'd love to hear from you. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this one. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next one.